Good afternoon, sir. One of the first questions on my mind was, how do you feel IIM Kozhikode has been contributing to the growing global stature of IIMs?
See, the very mission statement of IIM Kozhikode, which is globalizing Indian thought, will give you a clue that we no longer think of a business school as a local entity. And all businesses are global, and therefore, by definition, business schools should at least aspire to be global. Now, what are we doing here? We are doing the following. We are recognizing the fact that two very dominant notions of learning. One notion is learning is a function of time, periods, all right? And the other notion is learning is a function of place, a school, physical space called school. That notion, these two dominant aspects have undergone a very radical shift in recent times. We realize that learning has moved from hardware to software to everywhere. And so it's not a function of chronological time. Learning is asynchronous. It can happen in multiple time frames. And it is a function of space rather than place. And so globalization is a natural corollary to the revolution that's happening in the realm of technology, which is taking learning to multiple spaces. What I'm talking to you today is potentially amplifiable across the seas, and somebody sitting in New York and California or Japan will most likely be able to see and hear what I have to say. And so globalization is a natural process, and IIM Kozhikode recognized that in 2001 and 2, and we were the first IIM to get into online and digitized learning. And what we recognize is that the world is becoming, the world of learning is becoming more open source, personalized, digitized, globalized. And therefore, we were among the pioneers among business schools of India, and certainly the first IIM, and emulated by other IIMs that followed us, to take learning beyond this place, beyond this little town that we are in. And our students are dispersed across geographies in all 6 continents, if I'm not wrong. And therefore, they are the ambassadors of what we had to offer, and they are making their impact across the world. So our own modest contribution to the global arena has also been recognized by our international accreditations. By YAMBA, we were the first IIM to be accredited by this global agency that accredits 150 plus B schools, including Oxford and Cambridge and all of that. And therefore, it is very clear that our footprints are very firm and they're visible, they're dominant, and we are out to reach out to the world. And as I said, our mission is globalizing Indian thought.
IIM Kozhikode has pioneered the executive management program through its interactive learning platform. What do you think makes this program truly outstanding?
You see, as I said earlier, we are the pioneers here. 2000, 2001 and 2 is when we started our program with 300 hours of teaching. This was absolutely pioneering. No other IIM or no business school worth its stature would do such a thing. But as of now, today, Times Professional Learning Network, we have 738 hours of interactive teaching. This is not just a teaching through the online mode. We also have an in-campus module where our students get face time and networking time to sample a world-class campus with absolute world-class facilities and interact in the peer group. So the enrichment happens not just through content that we send out through our digital platform, but also in terms of peer group interaction, in terms of faculty who are absolutely the best in their field, with lots of other inputs, including our extraordinary library resources and information resources that we have within the campus. And so this is something that builds enormous confidence among students, gives them an equity, and gives them that kind of a bandwidth, mental, intellectual, and professional bandwidth for them to, convert this, leverage this in the professional world, get the required promotions that they're looking for, professional upliftment they're looking for, and with the help of Times Professional Learning Network, which is the best of its kind in the field, we are able to reach out to a whole range of talents, a whole range of companies from where our students come, and it is truly an enriching and world-class experience that you can look forward to.
So what do you feel are the key takeaways from the EPGP program offered by IIM Kozhikode?
The primary takeaway from the EPGP program is that we are in the business of liberating the learner. The learner is a prisoner of the experiences that he or she has had so far. We take this learner from the context of his or her own experience to something larger, something much bigger. So we give you the big picture here. We also give you analytical skills, we give you thinking skills, we give you strategic skills, we give you leadership capability building exercises. And so all this put together creates the whole person that you are bound to be as a result of this experience. And holistic management, sustainability, these are big issues on the platform of businesses. And so we are preparing you for the world of tomorrow through this program. And I'm certain that when you come and interact with your peer group, you will get those team building skills, team working capabilities, working in groups, understanding how contexts shift and businesses adapt to cultures. And these are very important issues because business is a very context sensitive endeavor. And if you are not able to understand multiple contexts and reframe your thinking, reframe your skills based on the context, then you will be found wanting. We want to meet that need in you. And this is a program that adequately addresses some of your concerns about going to a business school. See, you are all knowledge workers and your professional life will be 70 years, not 50 years. You'll retire at the age of 80 or something, given the longevity that we have. So you have to survive in a cutthroat world, in a competitive world, and renew yourself for 70 odd years. It's a marathon out there. And so if you don't relearn what you've learned longly or what you're inadequate for, it'll be very difficult for you to catch up and survive in that long race. So fundamentally, a mid-career is no longer a mid-career. You know, it is, the midpoint has shifted from 35 to about 55, and so you early career learning, and then there's a mid-career learning, and there's along the career learning. So learning never stops. So you have to be equipped to deal with a 70 odd years of career span, and you have to relearn and unlearn and learn again. And so fundamentally what we are saying is that the only thing that will add value to your professional life is not what you know, but what you've learned. Because what you know is obsolete, is redundant, and of no consequence in the world of practice. That's the rationale for joining mid-career in these programs. So Arjuna is in the background, and you can see Arjuna is about focus, about clarity, about perseverance, about courage. And so these are some of the qualities that we see that our students have, and we want to inculcate these qualities in full measure. And so Arjuna is an icon of India, and Arjuna stands for those specific competencies and qualities that we are looking for in our students of the future. And therefore, symbolically, really, in real terms, we are telling them, this invincible Arjuna that you see here is who you are, and this is precisely what you ought to be, globalizing Indian thought and taking an Indian icon to its legitimate place by your professional capabilities, competence, and your own achievements. You will be that Arjuna that is right here. That's about it. Well, you know, this MBA experience is not about cognition in a classroom. So a full-time MBA, which is actually largely classroom-based teaching, is not always the kind that would equip a professional manager. So the shift from full-time to an executive MBA is essentially a shift from looking at learning in a management context from pure cognition to immersion. That's the shift. Now, in cognition, you can sit and understand a situation in your head, but when you have to apply it in the workplace, then it is essential that you take your classroom learning to the workplace, and then you get feedback from there. And so this back and forth movement between the world of practice and the world of theory, between learning and earning, between insights and ideas to relevance, from rigor in the classroom to relevance in the market space. And so this is why the popularity of the part-time MBAs gone up in recent times. So one does not really need to give up a job to be able to learn mid-career. In fact, this kind of learning is far more effective in the long run, because MBA education is largely post-experience learning. So unless you have a certain amount of experience in the workspace, you cannot really make those connections that are necessary for whatever you're learning in the classroom. So fundamentally, this synthesis of practice and theory is a very critical component, and this is why executive MBA of the classroom context has become popular and has gained momentum in recent years.